Welcome back to Out of the Woods Adventures. Today we are leaving the Alvord Desert and we are heading south to the Eastern Sierras. Our plan is to make it to Alabama Hills to camp either tonight or by tomorrow. But we did have one little hiccup because my excitement got ahead of my brain and we got stuck. But first, let's enjoy the rest of the morning before I got stuck. This is what happens when you forget to shake a can before you open it, but need to get all the flavors mixed around. It might look dorky, but it does the job. We drove through northern Nevada in a snowstorm a year ago, and it was pretty wild. So because of that, I was not really looking forward to coming back to this area. But the weather today is amazing, and the snow-capped peaks were beautiful. The only thing not beautiful is my gas mileage. Between these winds and the high speeds, they just don't agree with my Jeep. As we neared the California border, we came across this beautiful lake and decided to check it out. But it gave us a little bit more fun than we had hoped for. We just found this amazing lake. It is beautiful and there's no wind. It's warm. But you might be wondering why I'm holding a shovel. I didn't realize the sand was quite as spongy as it is. So we got ourselves into a little bit of a predicament. I'm a little deep. So we're gonna work on getting ourselves out of here now. Before my wife started to film this whole adventure, I had already gone back and forth a few times to see if I could get out, but was only getting myself deeper. This mud was gross. It was this nasty, wet, sticky clay, and it just stuck to everything. My main problem was the weight of the Jeep, holding it down into the mud, not allowing it to climb up onto the harder topsoil. The lack of space only brought my short ones, which I was a little nervous about, but I'm like, oh, we're not gonna get into anything. Leave it to me to get us into this. But gotta use what you can find to hopefully get out. See if that works. I chose not to use the traction boards yet because of how small they are. I was afraid I'd lose them in the mud and wanted to use them as a last resort and use every other option available first. And the plastic scraps I found did almost work. After multiple failed attempts, I knew I had to try something else, so I guess it's time to use those cute little traction boards. To be totally honest, I didn't have a whole lot of hope with these traction boards. I brought them as a last resort, didn't really expect to use them, but was honestly surprised that they did the job. They worked way better than I thought they would. That was it. Now the fun task of getting all this nasty clay off the traction boards so I can mount them back on the Seasucker mounts. If you've never heard of Seasucker and are into overlanding or just road trips, you're going to want to hear more about them. They offer unique mounting solutions, everything from traction board mounts like this to Rotopack mounts and so much more, all utilizing a quick but very strong suction cup mount that enable quick installation or removal depending on your needs. But now that I'm out of that hole, it's time to get cleaned up and move on, since now we're running way behind our schedule for the day. Well, that was fun, pushing the bounds of where I should and shouldn't be going a little bit too much. But I am surprised. I got out of that relatively quickly, and that only took us 15 minutes or so. And that's deep. I mean, that right there, that's about 2 feet deep. I've never been into that kind of mud before, but that's where I'm very thankful for those Toyo Open Country MTs. Not sponsored, but those tires are fantastic. I absolutely love them. But I've never got to test them in actual mud, especially mud like this. And yeah, I was pretty impressed by that. Now we're gonna go back and get back on the paved road. And my Jeep is also about to become much less clean as that mud gets thrown up all over the Jeep. Look at all that mud. You can just barely even make out the texture of the tires. But yeah, you can see how deep I got. Oh yeah, that's all in there. That's fun. All right, well, thank you, Mini Max Tracks. Didn't think I was actually gonna use you, but you actually worked out pretty good. And thank you, Toyo Tires. Although on trips like this, the goal is the destinations that we are looking forward to. But often the best memories come from random finds like this and random memories that are made getting stuck in deep mud. All part of the fun that makes overlanding such a great experience. Hey buddy, what are we stopping to look at?
Tank.
A what?
Tank.
A what?
Tank.
Not trank, a tank. Look at that. We just got gas and we're heading down towards Bishop. We came by this museum and look what they have. They have a tank. Actually, they have a couple tanks down there. All kinds of missiles and bombs and a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never been this close to a tank before.
Look how many wheels it has.
That's how it holds its tracks. That helps it go pretty much anywhere. Hey buddy, go stand next to it. See how big it is compared to you. That track's taller than you.
Can I go drive it?
You want to drive it? Would be pretty fun, huh? Be really fun to drive that. Soon after the museum, we finally hit the California border. Because of our fun time at the lake, we did not make it down to Alabama Hills. So we grabbed a hotel not too far from Mammoth Lakes, but the good thing about that is that it allowed us to get out for an amazing sunrise in Mammoth Lakes. I don't run very often, but I do run when there's conditions like that. Absolutely beautiful. Our plans this morning were to enjoy one of the mini hot springs that are just southeast of Mammoth Lakes. Unfortunately, all the roads that lead to all the hot springs were closed with the crazy amount of snow this spring has brought the area. But we definitely are not complaining about this morning view. Now I'm all dizzy, buddy.
Doing it.
Well, I'm gonna try to walk now, even though I'm crazy dizzy. But we are heading to the Schultz Bakery here in Bishop. And it's crazy because Angela and I were just walking around up in Mammoth just 2 hours ago and it was 26 degrees and freezing. Now here it is, like 60, sunny. We're in shorts and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt and it's wonderful. It actually feels like spring now, but the mountains are covered in snow and it's beautiful. I'm pretty sure it's law if you're driving through Bishop, California, you have to stop at Eric Schatz Bakery. You'll find Schatz Bakery in the middle of town, right on Main Street. And be ready to be overwhelmed because there's a huge selection of cookies and donuts and every single kind of sweet treat you can imagine. But they also have a great selection of fresh breads and made-to-order sandwiches. All right, what'd you get, Munchkin?
Cinnamon roll.
All right, try it.
Wait, no, I need to post it on my Snap story.
All right, get your Snap story. How's your cinnamon roll, Munchkin? Pretty good? What'd you get, buddy? Ooh, sugar donut. Is it good? I should probably eat it. You probably don't want that.
Don't put it on the table.
Mom got her macaroons.
Macaronis. You're gonna help me eat these.
We'll see. I'm trying to be healthy over here with my sandwich.
You want dessert.
Nope, don't. That's not there.
Hold on here.
I'm being healthy here. This bag doesn't exist.
That's mine.
Okay, so I might have to eat it a little bit. But wouldn't you? That looks amazing. Alright, so we're about to leave Bishop, but there's one other stop that you have to make if you're here. Mahogany Smoked Meats is on the north side of town and is definitely worth a stop. If you're into jerky, they have every single flavor you could probably imagine, and they are all delicious. We picked up a couple of flavors of jerky and of course some bacon that we knew we'd enjoy the next morning. And then we were back on the road, heading south to Alabama Hills. Alabama Hills is located just outside of Lone Pine, California. It's a pretty unique place and is famous for a number of reasons. The main road that drives through the area is called Movie Road. It has that name because there have been some really big movies that have been filmed here. Movies like Gladiator, Iron Man, and Man of Steel are just a few. So we're just pulling into Alabama Hills, and it is unreal. The snow on the peaks, and it's like 65 out. Just puts you in a good mood automatically. It's just amazing here. What? Because it's a lot colder up there than down here. But yeah, pretty amazing. Honestly, it's pretty surprising, but Alabama Hills is just open BLM land. It's not a state park or anything else, and it's open for anyone and everyone to come in free of charge. With that said, over the last handful of years, mostly because of social media, this place has blown up in popularity, and because of that, there has been a lot of vandalism, which is horrible to see. So definitely make sure that if you come here, leave the space you enjoy better than you found it. After just a bit of driving around, we found our spot. Now to try to get the Jeep level. After maneuvering around a little bit and getting it close, I was able to get the Jeep relatively level, but still not perfect. So I pulled off the traction boards and decided to use them as a leveling block. And that brought the Jeep to within 1 degree of perfectly flat. Now it's time to set up camp and enjoy. We love this iCamper X-Cover 2.0. It's quick to set up, has windows all the way around, and is comfortable for our family of 4. This is a new piece of gear from Seasucker that we are trying out for the first time on this trip. One of the problems we always face is finding a good place to put a trash bag, but this solves that problem pretty easily. And with that, camp is all set up. Now it's time to enjoy the afternoon. Asher has become our climber, so this is just a huge playground for him. Kira isn't a huge fan of climbing, but I dared her to see if she could fit through this hole, and so there she goes. She definitely felt very weird going through this hole, but she made it through. And just in time to get comfy in her only kind of sitting way. After climbing around with Kira and Asher, I wanted to photograph something else that I've climbed. The peak on the right is Mount Whitney, standing at 14,505 feet. And in 2021, I finally got to climb this, and it was amazing. We spent some time playing some cards that Asher always seems to win.
Always wins. Always.
And as they played, I was getting hungry, so it's time to make some dinner. So for most of the trip, we had planned on using our propane fire pit, but there's this cave here with an already set up fire pit. So we went into town, bought some wood. I don't have any fire starter, but a good alternative is hand sanitizer. This is mostly alcohol, so just squirt it on everything, and that should light right away. That works really well.